This is a requested video from my females, and they wanted to know how to widen the hips through exercise. First, let me say something about the pelvis bone. The pelvis bone, a lot of women are just born with wide pelvis bones. Like, some of us get lucky and some of us do not. So it's a bone, so there's not a lot you can do to widen that bone. There's like really nothing you can do. But you do have muscles in this area. You do have glute muscles on the side. This is your main glute muscle. The biggest would be the glute maximus. But you also have the gluteus medius and the gluteus minimus in this area. And you also have the tensor fasciolata, the TFL, in this area. So you do have muscles in this area, but like I said, they're not very big muscles. But there are exercises that activate those muscles and helps them to grow. You really have to put a lot of focus on these muscles in this area, because there's not a lot of exercises that you do that really just isolate and target those muscles. So I'm going to give you a few exercises that actually targets and help activate those muscles and get them to grow. You start off with something light. Always start off with something light, because always know that it's important to learn how to do an exercise before you start using heavy weights or before you start increasing the intensity. So always remember that. That's always very important. But eventually to get the muscles to grow, you will have to keep increasing the intensity and focus on that area and get those muscles, the muscles you do have here, get them to grow, and put a few more inches on the hip width. And that's how you can help widen the hips through exercise. So I'm going to give you about 3 or 4 exercises that will target just that area. And that's the gluteus minimus, the gluteus medius, and the tensor fasciolata, which is the TFL. The first exercise is a lying hip abduction. And you're lying on your side, making sure your entire body is in a line from your head down to your toes, making sure everything is in a straight alignment, making sure you do keep that gap right here in your lower back. You don't want your lower back to flatten. You want to keep that gap there. You take a weight, put it right in this area, right above the knees, in the midway of your thigh, and you lift. But you only want to lift between 30 and 35 degrees, and you want to come back down. Okay, the second exercise is also a side lying hip abduction, but this time you're externally rotating your leg out a little. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Your body is still in straight a line from your head down to your toes. You're still keeping that gap there. But this time, your top leg, you're going to externally rotate out. Like externally rotating the hip and the leg out a little. Placing the weight back there again. And you're lifting up 30, 35 degrees and back down. And what that does, it targets more of the TFL, the tensor fasciolata, and it's also hitting the glutes when you externally rotate your hip out. And the next exercise is a standing hip abduction. And basically, you get a weight, place it right in the mid between your knee and your hip. And you basically do the same thing you was doing when you was lying on the ground or on the floor. You just lift. I'm trying to keep your upper body straight. You don't want to bend over. You don't want to lean. You just want to try to keep your upper body as straight as possible and lift. And it's very important where you place this weight. You want to put it where it causes resistance. You don't want to put it up here because you're not causing any type of resistance. You want to put it here so you can feel your outer thigh lifting the weight. This next exercise is again for the side glutes, which is the gluteus minimus and the medius. This time is for the glute max, and it's also for the tensor fascia lata. So with this exercise, you're hitting all three. You would need some sort of tubing. Okay, I have right here would be one of the lightest tubings I have. And we're going to start with the lightest, but like I said, eventually you will have to progress into something a little more thicker. We're going to tie this around our feet. And try to get it. There are better, I guess there are smaller tubings that you can use, but since I already had this at home, I'm going to use this. First, we're going to do the sumo walk. Put a slight bend in your knees, keep your upper body straight. We're going to walk out to the side, making sure you're keeping the tension in the tubing. So we're going to go back. And trust me, you're going to feel it in this area. So like I said, start off with something light, like a light tubing, until you get the hang of the exercise. Do it for about 4 weeks using the lighter intensity, and then hike it up. Because it takes about 4 weeks for a person's body to adapt to what they're currently doing. So it takes about 4 weeks, and your muscles will probably get tired of this in like 4 weeks. So after 4 weeks, we're going to hike it up again. So, you know, try to change up every 4 to 6, I would say 4 to 6 weeks. And you're going to really feel it in your glute max, your glute medius, minimus, and the tensor fascia lata. You're going to feel it in all of those areas. And the next one is the monster walk. Now let me back up so y'all can see this. Okay. You step up, and when you step up, you step around. Like you step up and out. Take the other leg up and out. So you go, 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 go. Now you step up and out, up and out, up and out. Oh my God. Woo, you're gonna feel it, trust me. Up and out, up and out, up and out, up and out. And that's the monster walk. So you have the sumo walk, which is, and you have the monster walk, up and out, up and out, up and out. Keeping that knee, keeping a slight bend in the knees at the whole entire time. And you're going to feel it. So, but that's what you want to do, right? You want to feel it. So those are some exercises to help with the muscle growth right here on the side. So let's get those hips curvy. Let's work on it. Holla.